When you've been conditioned to believe that who you really are sucks or is no good or is not good enough, or when you've had a voice put into your head, so to speak, conditioned to self-criticize constantly, very often what we do in life in that case is that we engage in one of two behaviors. And one behavior is we forever keep the focus on other people. That we ask a lot of questions, we take an interest in them, or we let them talk and talk and talk. Because as long as the focus is on them, it ain't on me. Because I'm convinced if you saw who I really am, you wouldn't like it. Because quite frankly, I don't like who I really am. Now again, that may be your own self-critical voice, but more likely than not, you got a self-critical voice way back in childhood because you didn't come out of the womb self-critical. No child does, right? So you keep the focus on others. Plus, people like getting attention, so you keeping the focus on them makes them kind of like you. So they're kind of pouring a bit of love into your love cup. They appreciate that you give them all the attention. So it gets you a little bit of love and it also keeps them from seeing the authentic you. On the other side, what a lot of people do is they create an inflated version of themselves, even a false version of themselves. Why? So that I don't have to show you the real version of myself, which I think sucks. So I'm going to make this sort of persona, or I'm going to create fictions, or I'm going to brag, or I'm going to inflate things to make me look good. That way you'll give me attention and praise. Wow, you're great, which is pouring love into my love cup. And it's also safe because then you won't see the real me. So to what degree do you do either one of these? Or if you do both, what percent would you affix to either one of those? Which one do you do more? If you do them both, is it 70%, 30%? Is it 20%, 80%? Is it 95%, 5%? What is it for you? In other words, what's at the root of this is the fear that if you see who I really am, you won't like me, you will reject me. And that in and of itself is an indicator of what you think of yourself. When I was younger, I engaged in both. In fact, I got very, very good at asking questions. My parents had both intentionally and accidentally taught me the value of questions and helping others and asking questions and drawing them out. And the effect was in my 20s then, and even slightly into my 30s, when I wasn't proud of who I was for my own separate reasons, I could keep the focus on other people and it made them like me a bit. But it kept the focus off of me. And also, I would inflate or sometimes make up stories. Why? As a way to get some measure of positive attention as well. So I was engaged in both. And maybe for me, it was roughly 80% giving other people the attention and 20% inflating shit. Even though when I had been a kid, as a teenager, anybody who knew me knew I was a terrible braggart. I was constantly bragging and making up stories about how wonderful I was. And back then it was probably 89%, inflating stories to make myself look good and get attention, and 11%, listening to other people. And I'd like to think now at this point in my life that I've grown to actually fall in love with who I am over time, over the last, 15, 20 years, right? And so back to you. To what degree are you engaging, keeping the focus on other people as a way to keep it off yourself and maybe get some love for giving them attention? And to what degree are you inflating something to get positive attention and also keep the focus off your authentic self? And at what point do you go inside and do the healing of calling out those fears, bringing them out, finding the origins of those critical voices so that you're no longer living in this state of inauthenticity? Have a kick-ass day.